This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs. Toby?
Yes, sir.
I feel like I've been slacking in my duties recently.
Is that right?
And I have, right? You've been carrying a lot of weight for these last few episodes, and so it was really important that I rectify this situation. So I'd like to buy you a drink, Toby. Here it is, right here.
My man.
Let's hear the. Can we hear the clinking or anything a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
So, cheers, my brother.
Cheers, sir.
Hey, do you remember that scene in Top Gun Maverick where he puts his phone on the bar and the bell gets rung and he has to buy a round of drinks for everybody?
That was horrible.
How can we buy some drinks for our Riffs Nation? I feel like this is something I would like to do for our people. And maybe in the meantime, we just drink in solidarity. So
yeah, that would be.
So listeners, please feel free to make a beverage of your choosing. It can be anything. You can have milk if you want on it. It's fine.
What I want to do is come up with, and like you said, you could pick your beverage, but I think we do need to establish a drinking game with riffs, like a code word that we say and maybe say often.
Well, it used to be, do you remember in our early episodes, it was back in the day.
Oh my God.
Back in the day was the phrase that people would.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to say back in the day one more time, just for our for our OG listeners.
OG listeners.
You're welcome.
Riff Nation, you know what to do. Do it. Well, Joe, I'm excited about this. I'm always excited to have episode, but I am particularly excited about this artist because it's one of those. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you ordered something?
I was afraid based on what this song was going to be, what you were going to ask me, Toby. But a restaurant. I have been to a restaurant. That is correct.
You've been to a restaurant and you order something that you always order, right? From you. Look, I like fine dining. I do. That's just, that is me. I like fine dining. And one thing that I always get at the end of the meal is creme brulee. That is what I always get. Now, all creme brulee is not created equal. It's not.
No,
it's not.
No, it's not. It is not.
But I've had some fantastic creme brulee to the point where I've told my wife, like, you might need to get your own. Because this is good.
No sharing.
We're no sharing on this one. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that when it comes to what this artist does, I think it, in my opinion, is like really good creme brulee. A lot of people try to do it, but this artist does it differently. So instead of us beating around the bush, so to speak, can you please tell the listeners who we are talking about today?
Well, listeners, today we are going to buy you a drink. We're going to do some shorty snapping. This is T-Pain's single that dropped. It looks like it was released on February 20th of 2007. So this was...
back in the day.
Back in the day, there you go, in stereo. And I think really was certainly one of the early instances of what you're referring to, I'm assuming, with T-Pain and his auto-tune usage and things, and how he's really kind of the master of that. And I think we'll get into why it works so well for him specifically. But yeah, this was kind of early in that whole process.
Agreed. Very, very much so. And as I had some thoughts in regards to his influence, but as I did more research, it's like, wow, it's actually even more than what I thought. He's more influential than what I thought. And he should definitely, for that time period, he should definitely be known or remembered as being one of the most influential producers of that time period. I mean, there was one time where T-Pain had about, I want to say there was 17 hits all played on the radio at one time. I mean, dude, from 2007 to 2010, I mean, it's basically
it was a run.
It was a hell of a run. It was a hell of a run.
Well, this one in particular, its highest charting single for him on the Hot 100, surpassing the other epic tome of no, it's not, of literature. I'm in love with a stripper. That was that was the one, the precursor. But I think what's crazy about this is how popular it was for so long and on so many different charts. So if you look at the chart run on this, I'm gonna read this from the old wiki because I want to make sure that I get this right.
Yeah.
Spent its chart run in each of the top 12 positions of the Hot 100 and broke the record of Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden. You remember that one? That was another one that was ubiquitous forever.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, that song had been the only single in the history of the Hot 100 to spend each of the top 10 positions on the chart during its run. So if you think about that and you just look at the charting of this, right? Number one on the Hot 100, the R&B hip hop songs, number 4 on pop, number 1 on rhythmic, number 2 in New Zealand for whatever reason. It just had a run, and it had a run for a while. And I really think that started that whole T-Pain ubiquitousness that kind of became the thing for the next 3 to 5 years. And for better or for worse, launched the old auto-tune universe.
I do think it's important that we always talk about history of the particular artist, right? And it's funny, as popular as this artist is, as well established as he is, we've never really talked about him. We never had an episode focused just on T-Pain. So I do want to kind of talk about him. You know what? This dude was born on my birthday in the year 1984.
September 30th?
Yes. So, cheers to you.
He's 39. He's just turning 40 this year, I think, right?
He's turning 40 because I'm turning 50. So
what?
Yeah, it's happening.
No.
It's going down. So his name is Fahim Rashad. I want to say last name would be pronounced Najm. I know I'm probably getting that wrong, but do the best I can. But dude was born September 30th, 1984. I remember when he came out. I distinctly remember
when he was born. You remember that day he was born?
That's
not, only 10, Toby.
That's not the coming out that I'm talking about. What I mean, not talking about that at all.
I didn't know you were there.
No, absolutely not. I was not there. But I do remember the song "I'm Sprung," and I do remember "I'm in Love with the Stripper," and I remember just how different those songs were. To me, they sounded really different, and I had to do some thinking of why they sounded different. And what makes his music just different from a lot of the other cats out there. Well, yes, he sings. He's also a rapper, but he's also a producer. And when you have that trifecta and you incorporate all three of those in on a track, this is what you get. This track, it feels like the track was made for him because he made it. He made it. Now I would say it's interesting. The I'm Sprung track, if I'm understanding it right, the Sprung track was actually written for Akon or meant for Akon.
Yes. Yep.
Akon was supposed to do it. He did not want to do that song. And he said, we ain't doing that song, man. This ain't for me. He took the song and took it to the radio. The radio played it with him singing on it. And the rest is essentially history. So I think it's for him to double down and bet on himself, I think is fantastic. The other thing that I think was really interesting about his career, for those that don't know, T-Pain is short for Tallahassee Pain. So Tallahassee, the city that he is from, hails from, whatnot, grew up with a group called Nappy Heads. So this is the crew and whatnot. His father was actually the manager of this crew of artists. Well, they were doing songs separately from him. He, being a producer, was doing his own thing. And I guess it sounds like they were a little bit jealous of him getting a lot of attention and notoriety. You know how the story goes. So this dude, we used to have this thing called jacking beats, where if you jack a beat, it means you take a beat from a popular artist and you record your words, your lyrics over it. So, and that's what he did with Akon's song, Locked Up, made it a song called Effed Up instead, right?
Yep. Yeah.
In which, to me, it really should be like part A and part B of a song. If you're locked up, good chance you did F up some way, right? So this is kind of makes sense.
It's accurate.
But that's the name of the song, name of the track. But I remember one of the best versions of that, best examples of that happening was your boy 50 Cent. He used to do that back in the day and do whole beats like that, whole songs, whole projects like that, and it got him a lot of attention. So I love hearing the story. It's like, oh man, that's how you got his attention. Akon eventually signed him.
Yeah, and I think that is just continuing to evolve. And that's how a lot of these YouTube artists, they're starting to do covers, they're doing live covers on YouTube or whatever it is, and then sometimes the original producers, the original artists get hip to it, and it kind of leads down a path. But it's a nice way to showcase your talent with kind of a low barrier to entry, right? You're not starting from scratch with a bunch of stuff that people have never heard before. It's familiar already, but I'm putting a different spin on it, and I can showcase my own stuff. And I think that it makes it more palatable, I think, for the masses. You mentioned he bet on himself, which I think is, even this song, right? So he's hanging out with Chris Brown and plays him this track, and Chris is like, oh, I want this on exclusive. I want this on my album. And he says, yeah, of course, sure, no problem. And then he said, I walked out and I never played it for him again because I wanted to keep it for myself. And so just that knowledge of, hey, I could give this to another artist and they might do some amazing things with it, but this track is important to me. And I think having that kind of awareness as you create something is huge. And then sticking with that's impressive.
Well, after he presented it to Akon, or actually, after the radio played song a couple of times, getting a whole bunch of offers, including a $900,000 signing bonus, right, from some record label. I forget which one it was, but regardless, who cares? It's $900,000 at that point.
Right. It's as long as the check clears.
My God, what are we talking about? $900,000 in Akon.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious about that. Like, at that point, wouldn't you just be like, hey, you know what? Can we just get that to 7 figures? That'd be, what's the difference? 900,000, $1 million, same. It's a rounding error. Just right. Like
this is where my friend. This is where you need another good friend to tell you to be quiet and sit back. This is when.
So this is a Steve Miller take the money and run moment, is what you're saying?
What are we talking about? And we're done. Listen, and especially at this age, at our age, dude, this is it. We're done. We are done. What? Stop. We could listen. You could have it for half. You know what I'm saying? Half of that. We're fine.
Whoa, Toby, don't put that in on a recording. Come on, man. All right. Well, but, I guess you can be my agent.
But he bet on himself a lot to say no to all of those deals and to say yes to Akon's deal, which was basically nothing in comparison with the money first. But he said he's made like 10 times that amount just because he allowed him to, basically probably own the song. I'm assuming it all kind of came down to publishing and things of that nature, which he probably would have had to trade in for these other deals. And I think having that kind of control, even though his career has taken ups and downs for sure, and we'll talk about that. It allowed him a little bit more freedom, creative freedom. It's like, all right, you're not hitting anymore, at least not as much as you were before, but you still got paid, and people are still playing this song. This song is played on a regular basis, dude. It's that good of a song, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to make a connection from T-Pain to Nickelback. You ready?
Ooh. Please.
Oh,
I like
you didn't
it.
see that
No,
one
I
coming,
sure
did
didn't.
ya?
I sure didn't. Go ahead. Hit me.
Well, do you remember when we did our Nickelback episode, which was a lot of tongue-in-cheek? But I think one of the things we learned about Nickelback and Chad Kroeger specifically is that he went to the proverbial woodshed and he said, I want to learn how to write a hit song. And so he started breaking down all the pop music and the chord progressions, and here's the hooks that people relate to. And so then Nickelback became, in the rock world, the stereotypical band of tropes and hooks. Like, that's just what they do, but it's intentional. They do that for a reason. And T-Pain literally said, hey, this is the first song where I was trying consciously to make a hit song. And I think we've all tried to write a hit song, and inevitably it fails, because if you're trying to write a hit, you're not going to write a hit, because in some ways it maybe loses some authenticity or you start falling into whatever. But I love his approach. He's like, what do people like talking about? Oh, drinking with girls. Hey, what do you say to get a girl, so you can buy her a drink? Huh. Well, there we go. There's some universal themes that we can all relate to and people will hone in on, and boom, there you go. There's your hit song.
I think it also depends on someone's socialization as they were growing up, the things that they want to write about. And so, T-Pain, he kind of, I was in the research that I did. This dude back in the day was bullied a lot. This kid was bullied a lot. So, didn't dress the best, bullied a lot. I'm sure that led to situations where he didn't get attention from females as much as he wanted. So I feel like, okay, hey, money's coming in now. If we, how does this dude do it? What's his icebreaker? And I could, even with the song "I'm Sprung," it's like, okay, for a dude to say, with your stereotypical masculine type songs that have come out, most of these songs are like, oh, she digs me. I know you want it. That. That's how songs generally go. But he's saying, I'm sprung. I'm into her, like, a lot. Even in the second song, you're looking at, I'm in love with a stripper. Dude, who would admit that? Who would admit that? I'm just saying it's different. It's different because people look at strippers as being not.
I think strippers are incredibly lovable, Toby. I just want to put that out there.
All right. Yes. Yes, they are. But to admit it on a song.
I don't know that I want that on. Wait, are we recording right now?
No, recording, sir. We are most definitely.
This didn't get put on tape, did it? That's weird.
Very weird, since we're both on a podcast.
Yeah, it's, I guess I'm kind of like T-Pain then.
Oh, boy.
We're pretty much the same.
Yeah, we're all sprung. So anyway, I don't know. I like the transparency. Our approaches might differ for sure, but I like his transparency. Like, dude, I'm in love with this. I'm in love with her. I'm sprung. Let me buy you a drink, and just kind of talking about the whole process. But him using the auto-tune, obviously, it sets him apart. But not as, I love the fact that he's doing his thing. He's like, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to really do it. I'm going to take it to the next level. And I think that is what set him apart. I'm not just going to do it. I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to do it all the way, like turn it all the way up.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens,
And, he started using it. I'm going to make another comparison here. I have lots of questions around autotune specifically.
Please.
And its impact on the musical landscape. But I think the comparison that I would make to this is, when U2 came out and the Edge was really like using all of those delays and slapbacks and just kind of making the guitar almost a percussive instrument with the way that he plays. And U2 has a very distinct sound in a large part because of the Edge and just how how he approaches the instrument. And you're never going to listen to a U2 song and think that it's another band, right? That stylistic choice they've stuck to pretty much through their entire catalog, and it makes them instantly recognizable, and it makes them pioneers in a lot of ways. With the sound that they created, it was very unique to them. So you're taking an instrument, you're taking tools that have existed for a long time, but you're really pushing them into a stylistic choice. And that's exactly what T-Pain has done with the auto-tune. Incredibly talented singer, which I think got lost in the shuffle early in his career because he leaned so heavily into all of the auto-tune. But and you peel back the layers, he's got phenomenal talent. He has experience as a producer and kind of crafting songs. And so then now you're bringing in a tool, which is really all he's using auto-tune is, to make a stylistic choice. And I think that's where he's so successful in how he's approached it and the music that he's created using this as a tool versus what started to happen later with other artists where it became a crutch. Where it became, I can just put a plug in and it'll start doing things that make it sound kind of interesting. And you lose some of the musicality and the interest that I think he's exceptionally good at.
I totally agree. And I would also say that since he is a producer, even the way that he would use it compared to how other people would use it is just different. And and it's weird. Back in the day, I don't know if you remember this or not, but there was this whole era of hip hop where it was a lot of whispering in rap songs. There was a lot of whispering in rap songs, right? So when the Yin Yang Twins came out with the song Wait, which is called the Whisper Song back in 2005, it's funny because that happened and then T-Pain came much after. I thought initially, this is that because that whisper thing caught on and a lot of other people started doing it at the same time and it got annoying. Like I think the two songs that I heard were one's from Yin Yang, the other one's from David Banner with the song Play. And I was like, and I think Jay-Z did a whisper song and I was like, okay, and we're done. Okay, right. Thank you. Your turn is over. Pass the mic. You're done. This, I was worried that this auto-tune was going to be similar, but it actually caught on a lot. There's a lot more people that were doing it, but they couldn't do it quite like he could. There's not anyone that does it as well as T-Pain.
No.
So,
well, and it's interesting you bring up Jay-Z, right? Because 3 years or 2 years after this song is released, Jay-Z's had enough. And so he comes out with D.O.A. Death of Autotune and basically puts the whole thing on blast. Now, he's very clearly said, even at the time and since, saying, look, people like T-Pain who are doing it effectively, I fully respect. But all you other idiots who are just hopping on a bandwagon and not being creative or interesting with it, let's just stop. And I think the impetus for him was, hey, I literally just heard auto-tune in a Wendy's commercial. Like that is pure jump the shark moment. So, and for all you young kids who don't know what jump the shark means, look up a TV show called Happy Days and a guy named Fonzie.
Hey.
And then you'll have your answer.
For everyone to do it, for everyone to start doing it. Well, you know what? Actually, let's rewind back a little bit because we're talking about this Buy You a Drink is on his second album. First album was successful. I want to say it was certified gold, number 33 on the charts. Then his second album, Epiphany, comes out, later. That, Buy You a Drink was number 1 on the Billboard. And he had Bartender, which is second single, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Bartender's
more Akon.
Yeah, more Akon. That's number 5. So we have a certified hit. And then after that, he came out with 33 Rings and he had Chopped and Screwed, which had Ludacris on it. Can't Believe It with Lil Wayne. And we're talking about a whole host of other singles, right? Like Kiss Kiss with Chris Brown. What's the song that he had with DJ Khaled? All I Do Is Win, which is played everywhere, literally everywhere. Weddings, graduations, football games,
Again, it's a universal theme, Toby. Even All I Do Is Win.
Listen, well, it's a universal theme. If Barack Obama played it,
right?
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
What are we talking about? At that point, it's like, okay, stop. But I mean, he had that kind of momentum. And then Jay-Z, looked at as being the GOAT, comes out with the song D.O.A., Death of Autotune. Woo! Oh my God. And
that's shots fired right
dude,
there.
I didn't even listen to the words. I just thought,
You don't have to.
automatically, dude, that's got to be about you. It's talking about you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously, he's like you had mentioned earlier, it wasn't necessarily personal. It wasn't personal toward him, but still, there was miscommunication between their camps. T-Pain actually did record a diss song toward Jay-Z. Lucky for him, he did not
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he came out.
Really?
He never came out with it. It wasn't released.
Smart.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
But the phone stopped ringing at that time.
Well, I think if you are doing something and then Jay-Z comes out and says, hey, everybody stop doing this, then it's going to have an impact on the thing that you're doing. Whether or not you're the best that's ever done it that way. I feel like we do need to kind of rewind a little bit too and just kind of, I think you and I might take what auto-tune is for granted. And I think generally people have a sense of what that is, but maybe just to kind of, all auto-tune is essentially a plug-in that goes into a recording interface. And so and this would never happen to Toby per se, but it would happen to Joe. Let's say that you were singing something and you happen to be a little flat or a little sharp or just out of pitch or something. Auto-tune was originally set up to kind of do some correction. Like, it's just a tiny bit under, we need to raise that up. And so it allows artists to essentially do quote unquote perfect performances
in the studio.
Because in the studio. And you can really push those settings to do interesting creative things. And so if I'm singing something and I really raise up that setting so the software is not necessarily sure what pitch I want to land on, it's going to do some of sort of that bouncing around that you hear in T-Pain's music. And that became the ubiquitous thing of this is very robotic. It just has a certain, I don't even know what the word to describe. I think inhuman way of processing the human voice.
Yeah, but it sounds cool. It's not.
It sounds cool.
It's not the same thing. Remember, we've talked about Zapp and Roger Troutman, throughout several of our episodes. And again, it was when he did the talk box, it just sounds cool. It sounds different,
cool.
Sounds futuristic. And outside of those couple examples, right, where people use talk box, and there have been a couple of the songs, here and there, no other artist leaned all the way in like T-Pain did. And so even on his song like I'm Sprung, this dude was using auto-tune just on the choruses, right? Second album comes in, he's like, no, we're going all the way in. This is something that's different. And that is, I think, the genius behind it. It's like, okay, he goes all the way in, but really knows his voice really well, wrote the song, produced the song. This is what you get. And it's like, wow, listen to that. It sounds, I don't know. It sounds great. I like it. I dig it. And it was something new.
This episode of Rips on Rips is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffs-on-riffs.
The holidays are in full swing, and Abercrombie Kids has everything on their wish list. Check it all off during their Get Gifting sale. Start with festive outfits like sweaters and dresses for holiday parties. Then finish up with cozy sweatshirts and sweatpants made to mix and match all winter and beyond. Get gifting with Abercrombie Kids in the app, online, and in stores.
Well, there's a phrase that that I've used often in my line of work, Toby, and it's if you can't fix it, feature it. So and it is that idea of, look, I can't correct this, I can't make it better, I can't change it, and I probably want to. What happens if I lean completely the other way and say, you know what, this is a known quantity, I'm going after it full bore, I'm going to feature it now. And I feel like in some ways that's essentially what he did. It's like, this is a cool thing, but I'm going to turn it up to 11. And just really see what interesting things can happen. And I unfortunately think for a long time, people didn't understand what an amazing vocal talent he was, because he was kind of hiding behind the shtick. Like, at what point are you doing the thing and people like don't recognize that you're talented anymore because you're kind of doing the thing?
So let me talk about that real quick. Because his first album, he really didn't use auto-tune that much. He did use it, but not that much, right? Second album and beyond, of course, that was his thing at that point. And I totally agree with the, feature it, that mentality. My mom always taught me, if there are certain things that others do really well, in business, for example, the things that other people do really, really well. What do you do? And actually, this wasn't even, you know what, let me, I'm lying. That wasn't my mom. That was my wife that taught me that. It was like, she said, there are things that other folks do, and you trying to be like them is probably not going to work for you. You need to do what you do to the best of your ability. What is it that you can do that no one else can? Because no one else is going to be like you. And I think that he channeled that energy, because I just love this history of this dude. I love the way he bets on himself, because I feel that, I like, this is a dude that I root for, especially after hearing all of this. Like, I don't know him at all. Right. He's not paying me to say this, but he's a dude that I root for, because I love his, him betting on himself. Like, dude, I got it. I'm on it.
Well, a couple of things. To one, it sounds like you've got some incredibly wise women in your life, and you should probably listen to them more.
For sure.
So if you don't know whether the wisdom comes from mom or my wife, like, you're living right, my friend. So well done, you.
Thank you, sir.
The other thing, and I think this is why you and I potentially also sort of gravitate towards him, is, I mean, he's an individual who is self-proclaimed and said, like, I'm a gamer, I'm a nerd. Back in 2016, he was like, hey, we never talk about this in the industry because it's not cool. And then he eventually started setting up Twitch streams and really just kind of connecting with his audience and embracing that and being like, you know what, this is who I am. And whether it's cool or not, I'm not ashamed of it anymore. And it's another way for me to connect with people and fans and whatever. And so I think embracing that. And then he's got some crazy tattoos of like he's apparently a big fan of internet memes, right? And so like he's got I went down a whole rabbit hole. Apparently he's got the like on his the back of his hand. What is the back of your palm called? Is it just it's literally hand? It's
your hand, just the backside of your hand, just like you said.
Toby, the amount of shame that I felt from the way you just said that, well, Joe, it's called the back of your hand.
No, I just, that's it. That's it. I mean, if there's a better answer, I don't know it. But so in that case, hey, we're all in the same boat, sir. If there's a better name, we're equally ignorant of whatever that is. So whatever. Go ahead.
But he has a picture of, I think it's Jackie Chan, but like that meme of like the stereotypical confused Asian that shows up, whatever. And like there is like his whole body apparently is covered with random memes. And I'm like, that is a commitment to take a moment in time of something that like is hot for a second and then saying, I'm not only putting it on my body, I'm putting it on my body for the rest of my life where people are going to photograph this and see this all of the time forever.
Yeah.
And that is fully leaning into, let's feature it. Like this is something I think is fun.
Yeah. I do want to go back to the D.O.A. period, right? So the D.O.A. song comes out. That was a very popular song. Are a lot of songs that come from Jay-Z. This dude knows how to make a hit. And
yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Dude makes hits. Well, to pile on top of that, he's on a flight with Usher. He falls asleep, wakes up later. One of Usher's dudes tell him, hey, tell T-Pain to come back if you can. T-Pain goes back, hey man, what's up? What's going on? And they're friends. Again, they're traveling someplace. They're friends. And Usher's like, hey man, just wanted to tell you, I think you kind of messed the music industry up for singers. I think you single-handedly messed it up for singers. And that started a little bit of a period of depression for him. But it's his friend. That's one part of it. Yeah. But this is not just any friend. This is Usher, right?
I've heard of that guy.
Usher.
What did he mean? Is it because of the auto-tune specifically?
Yeah,
or
specifically because of that. Yeah, because he changed the game. I mean, and for the people that don't understand, let's look at the trajectory, or let's look at the butterfly effect of this dude. It's not, you don't even have to look that far for his influence. Because of T-Pain, you get Kanye's 808 and Heartbreaks.
Yes.
You get that.
Yes.
Because of him, you get the acceptance of the masses of someone that sings and also raps, because they were very separate before. Like, so
that is interesting.
There are examples of people that did it before, right? And of course, you had Ja Rule who did it. You had 50 Cent that made fun of Ja Rule doing it, but then did it himself.
Yeah. And then, right.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy in itself. That's a whole nother Riffs episode in itself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then you had this dude doing what he did. And if it wasn't for T-Pain, I'm telling you, you wouldn't have so many Drake hits. You wouldn't.
Wait, so I can blame T-Pain for Drake's existence?
Let's not go that far. Okay. But
Is that too much? No,
I'm just saying.
Because I've been looking for somebody to hold responsible.
Hey, you don't have to worry about Drake. You don't have to worry about him too much anymore. You ain't got to worry about it. It's all good.
Thank you, Kendrick.
It's all good. But I mean, look at that. And even going past Drake to, like I said, you got Lil Wayne that did it, has done it on several songs. I mean, Snoop, Sensual Seduction or whatever his song was back, and then you got Future,
which is just disturbing to think coming out of Snoop's mouth, but yeah,
hilarious though. And then also Future, is a well-known artist that to me just takes that style and does it in his own way. Now, obviously, there's differences between all of these cats, right? I still say that T-Pain did it the best. He did it the best. Dude can actually sing.
So talented.
He's just a talented dude, man. He's just a talented dude. So that's his effect, man. That's his influence on the music genre as a whole. That's what he did. I mean, that's his legacy.
Well, and I'm curious now. I want to get I think I know where you're going to land on this, but auto-tune becomes a thing. So people start taking it out of the studio and taking it on tour. And then the question becomes, your favorite artist is singing. Is their voice being processed in real time? Are they being corrected? Can they really, there was the whole, Taylor always gets backlash regardless, no matter what it is. But I remember a period where people were like, oh, Taylor can't really sing. It became a thing. Like, oh, they're being auto-tuned. And I don't know that people necessarily even understood what that meant, but there was this sense of, it went from, hey, Milli Vanilli and lip syncing to, well, it's the real person. and maybe they're actually singing, but they're also not really singing because it's being corrected in real time.
Okay, so let's talk about this first. First, let's talk about Taylor Swift. I don't want to hear it from people talking about that. That's the first thing. That's what I want to say. And let's move on to Beyonce. Again, I don't want to hear it. There's no way that these ladies can't sing. Be quiet.
Right.
Hush.
Come on. Stop.
Sit back.
Yes.
Sit back. So that's first and foremost. Boys to Men have used auto-tune. Boys to Men have. It is hard.
Pretty sure those guys can sing.
They can sing, period. It is very difficult to, people want perfection. They want. So to a certain extent, we can almost blame, society's got to blame itself a little bit, because we want perfection. We don't want mistakes. We want things to be perfect. And now we are recording digitally. That is what you can achieve. All right.
You can make it perfect.
You can make it perfect. So with that being said, let me talk about T-Pain. These other artists, they might try to do it in real time on stage. T-Pain largely does not sing these songs using auto-tune live. And for that, we can go to his Tiny Desk concert, which was
so good.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Which was fantastic. And I was like, this dude, and that really got him back in the good graces of the public. Like, okay, this dude, he got it. I mean, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
But because of all that nonsense, I think I read something where T-Pain doesn't use his name on tracks that he produces now. There are tracks he doesn't.
Interesting, because the stigma attached to it.
Yeah, so he's not even going to use his name on it. It's like, nah, I'd rather not.
Wow.
He writes under a pseudonym instead and calls it a day. I'm like, wow, it's
like you created the monster that is essentially made your career, but now has become an albatross.
There was I want to say, after the 33 Rings album, this dude had another album. It's the same old story, right? Where his record label just didn't push his project, just kind of, just let it sit, didn't market it right. He had a song that was supposed to be like the bomb. And he's like convinced, like, this song is going to be hot. They're going to love it. But because no one pushed it, just kind of fizzled out. It was what it was. The reason why, in his opinion, the song fizzled out, not just because the record label didn't really officially pump the song, but also because the song was actually written for another group. The song was written for another group. And he's like, you know what? This song would be perfect as their first single, their introduction to the masses. Hearing a song like this come from me, people are like, maybe it'll be played, but not nearly as much as it would be with new faces, new voices. That's what we need. That's what we want. We want to see something fresh. We don't, we're fickle like that. I think we're fickle.
Yes.
I think we're that fickle.
We are fickle humans. So here's a question, because I think both in the studio and live, there's expectations. So we all know that in the studio, in today's digital era, we can make things literally perfect. And there are, if you've got a beat and you want to literally quantize it for every 16th note, right? And it starts to sound, while it's technically perfect, it sounds very robotic. And so now there are ways to shift things in a way that feels more human and organic, so it doesn't sound so robotic, I guess. And there's been a lot of backlash from musicians saying, oh, well, it doesn't sound, back in the day, we didn't record to click tracks. We let the music kind of build and ebb and flow and speed up and slow down. And now that everything is so strict because think about how you and I produce music now.
Mm-hmm.
First question, what is the BPM?
Right.
Can you send me a click track? Because if I'm sending something to you, you need to be able to plug it into your system if we're working remote or whatever. And so somehow that starts to impact some of the humanity. And if you listen to, for me, it's go listen to those old Motown records.
Mm.
They're not great because everybody's on pitch all of the time. They're great because they're not. And they're not so far off where you're thinking, this doesn't sound right, but you're thinking, wow, this sounds amazing because it's a little more human.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we've got this backlash of people who are out in the world performing. And I think half of the world wants to see a performer be perfect all of the time. And then half the world is like, oh my God, this is totally staged and it's not authentic because they're singing too perfectly. And I feel like as an artist, can you even win anymore? Like, what is the proper approach?
I think the proper approach is just being you, man. I think it's just being you. When we talk about imperfections in music, my mind just goes to listening to jazz and listening to some of the rough drafts of some of the biggest draft hits or jazz hits. It just, by whatever artist, whoever. I mean, I love listening to some of the first, second, and third takes of these jazz artists and some of the mistakes that they have in there. And it's like, the laugh and the joking in the background, that kind of stuff. And then I guess in more recent times, if you look at a Wu-Tang album and it's like, oh man, Frizzle was on one with this one. Like, man, that's totally different. It's a different key. That is, the beat is not, beat's not together. And then if we even look more ahead of time, more recent, like Jay Dilla, with his beats not being completely quantized, adding more swing to the beat. And in hip hop, which, theoretically is a little bit more, strict, in its approach, quantizing and whatnot because of the rap syncopations and things like that. So I think altogether, I think you just need to be true to yourself, because if you get known for doing that one thing, then you're going to want, and if people love you doing that one thing, man, you better love doing what you do, because you're going to be asked to do that a lot.
It's like being a pigeonholed as an actor or a writer. Like that's who you are. So we're going to expect that from you.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you hit on right there is, what are some of the best things that happen either in a live performance or in a studio, or specifically when you're playing jazz, is you're taking risks. You are like, I'm in this moment, I'm going to go for it. And that oftentimes means you're going to fail miserably and fall flat on your face. Okay. And it's the only way you get to that one moment in time where you're like, oh my God, I don't know what just came out of me or what just happened, but that was amazing. And everybody responds in that way. So if we become too perfect, then we lose some of the magic. And I think that's the thing that we're missing.
So I'm watching this Rick Rubin interview on Insta, and he was talking about how some artists write. And he says sometimes people just overthink it. They overthink writing songs too much. And he was saying sometimes, this made me feel so good, but this is largely how I write. Sometimes people just scat words over different parts of the song. And it's like, forget content right now. Just throw that out the window. Just scat it out. Find words that actually match that, syllable wise and everything else. And then we'll figure the rest out later. But if you can do that, and that is the blueprint for hot songs, for good songs, and again, it just kind of comes down to, do you, man, do you? I'm listening to Remy Wolf a lot as of late. I love her album, and there's a song called Soup that she has, and I'm like, I love this song, but like for the life of me, I could not figure out what the heck she was talking about. I'm like, what is this? What are we talking about? And this one line goes, doing business on the top of the roof. Right. And I'm like, what business? There are bathrooms downstairs. We don't need to do business. But Toby, in my mind.
Toby, I know you've had some.
I've been traumatized.
You have been. There's been some literal things that have happened. Yeah.
But but in an interview, she explained it. And she was like, literally, I was with the label and the band, and we were talking business on the roof of the studio. And then it just kind of goes on. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what, though? I will say this. I enjoy the song more now, but I loved the song before I knew all of that. And I've seen her sing that song live, and the crowd knows it.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent, it's the vibe. And I think that we get that. And I think that we get that with T-Pain too. It's like, yeah, it's auto-tune, it's this, it's futuristic, it's robotic, but he just does it in a way that I feel like is very, very, very much so, very hard to duplicate fully. There's a lot of times it's imitated, but very hard to duplicate it to that level.
Couple of things. One, I know you're a comics guy.
Yeah.
And a fully finished, colored, printed, hold in your hand finished product is a beautiful thing. When you look at the original sketches, when you get to it before, when they're just the pencil, before anybody's inked it, before anybody's colored it, there's a lot of just beauty. And there's more of a visceral response sometimes in those early stages. They hit you a little bit harder because you're getting closer to the intent of the original creator. And so you have, I think, similar. I think music is the same way. If we can somehow tap into the authenticity in that early stages and allow the accidents to happen and all the beauty and the magic to take place, and then, let's polish it and let's turn out a finished product that looks beautiful and is engaging and all of that. But man, that sweet spot is when you can keep the beauty of the original intent and it comes all the way through to that finished product. That to me is like when you know that you've done the right things.
I agree. And I think, again, we speak to just how much talent that T-Pain has, and people like Stevie Wonder and people like Pharrell.
Oh,
these are individuals that produce the song, they write the song, and they can also perform the song. And I think that they're performing all of it with that in mind. So if we go back to comic books, he's someone that drew it, someone that traced it, and someone that colored it.
And wrote the story.
I mean, it's hard, man. It's really difficult,
hard.
dude. A lot of people have tried, but it's really hard. And for him to be successful in doing it this way, and doing it his way, is fantastic. I mean, if we're talking comic books, look, McFarlane was a fantastic artist. Fantastic artist. He's the artist behind Spawn. He basically re-revolutionized Spider-Man. McFarlane is stupid. I mean, but I'm sure you've heard of Spawn. So that he's ridiculous. But him writing a story for past one arc, dude, no.
Not so good.
Not so good. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm just going to say it's not.
But that's not his...
He's no Peter David, right? He's no Peter David. That's that. But for T-Pain to do it at this level and do all those parts, man, you literally gotta take your hat off to him, man. He's amazing.
Well, and a couple of things to wrap this up. I think he was so conscious of needing to break out of that, how he was associated with autotune, that, man, didn't he win season 1 of The Masked Singer?
Yes.
So he shows up and it wasn't even close. He was so amazingly talented. And then I think people were just like, wait a minute, hold on. Aren't you the auto-tune guy? Wait, you can sing. Like, what? And I think that helped. And then I don't know, did you give a listen to his, what is it?
Are you talking about the live album?
No, the album he came out with last year called On Top of the Covers.
Wait a minute.
So he's got a first track as a cover of Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come.
Oh,
so good.
Well, I'm sorry.
When you said Don't Stop Believing.
When you said On Top of the Covers, my mind went someplace else. But go ahead.
I think that was his intent, Toby. I think the guy who wrote I'm in Love with a Stripper might have had a double entendre to his cover album. I'm just, I don't know.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But, he's covering everything from Journey, Don't Stop Believing, to Sam Cooke, to Tennessee Whiskey. Like,
oh, wow.
And it's good. I mean, it's good. So, yeah. And I'm curious, as he's going to be 40 on your birthday, like what kind of comes next?
Well, technically it's 40 on our birthday, technically. So
I think you should buy him a drink, Toby. I think
you think so?
I think you should.
Or give him some ones. Something.
Here you go, buddy. Go fall in love.
Have fun.
Yes.
Have fun. Do your thing.
Well, I can't believe this, Toby. We've been talking for almost an hour.
Dude.
And I feel like time has just flown by. So I want to thank you for another good time on the mic. And my drink is empty. So I'm going to go buy myself another one and have one in your honor as well.
Is that one of your famous old fashions?
It is one of my famous.
Man,
I've not had one in weeks.
Dude,
so
you kill those. That is, my God. Those are the best. Those are the
Do you know why,
best.
Toby?
My goodness.
Because I'm old. Because I'm old, and so I put the old in old fashioned.
Because they ought to call that drink. Call that drink.
Joe fashioned? Is that what
Joe
it is
fashioned,
now?
or hey, get off Joe's lawn? One of the two. Hey, it's been a good time. Obviously, certainly, I did not expect this episode to go as long as it did, to be honest.
I didn't either. This is fun.
But it is fun. I think this dude is hella talented. I'm telling you, between his album Epiphany and 33 Rings, I think this dude, like he's there. And I love his music. So hopefully this will get more people to listen to his stuff. I'm hoping for more music. I know he's still producing, still writing, still singing. That's that. Good episode. Good times.
All right. Well, thank you, party people, for coming along in this journey. Hope you've also enjoyed your beverage. And please hit us up on the socials. Just do a little search for Riffs on Riffs on Instagram and the Facebooks and the whatevers.
Yep.
And we'll catch them next time. So I leave it to you, Tobe, to get us out of here.
Keep listening. Huzzah.